Hearing none. Mr. Pete Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
For the month of October, we had 28 building permits, 26 zoning permits, and we had 38 code enforcement actions. So it's been a relatively stable month, kind of hitting our averages. We only had one new home started, or at least building permit pulled in October. Other than that, as far as the enforcement side, we've set up our revenue line items. We are now accepting civil infraction violations in our office, which is great. So now it's not just going and tying up the courts. People have the opportunity to pay the infraction at our office, and then it can move on to the courts after that.
Any questions?
Peter, you're feeling a little less swamped these days?
No.
Oh, I know COVID caused problems, and I know you had some new procedures. Maybe things were easing up a little bit. No?
No, I would never admit it was easy.
I didn't say
It's
easy.
hard to invoice you folks if I said it was easy.
Got it.
I see a lot of accessory buildings, right? A lot of them going up. Yes.
And we are still riding that wave of where Shiawassee County had very strict limitations on pole barns and accessory structures. And we are seeing, I think we're even seeing lots selling more because people were always surprised. What do you mean I can only build at 3 acres? I can only build a 900 square foot pole barn? That's not there anymore. So we're seeing a lot of that.
I see that.
Yep.
That's a good deal, I think, personally. So.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
So now we'll move into our agenda item, our only agenda item, which is item A. We'll entertain a motion to approve the PA 116 farmland agreement application for Craig and Darcy Green of Green Door Land and Cattle LLC.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, I think I have to second it today, which I do, because Marlene's not here. Discussion or questions over this item? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion will be placed on Wednesday's agenda. And that is it for the agenda items. This is a second call to the public. Anyone want to address the committee? All right.
And because of the brevity of the first one, we'll move right into the second one.
Oh, according to this, it just turned 5:03.
All right. So even when they try to
You get the gold star.
still get the record.
I don't think anybody's ever going to beat that.
2 minutes with Saturday.
That's okay. John will make up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey,
Let us count here.
give me a
Let's
break,
count.
give me a break. All right, shall we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak at this time? Okay, Julie, Treasurer's Report.
Good evening. Bank reconciliation is up to date. Not a lot to report. I did attend a land bank meeting or learning event 2 days in October, and it was very informational. Made some good contacts, and there will be some good people that will be able to help guide as we learn the process. A new treasurers meeting will be happening December 5th and 6th up in Midland. I plan on attending that. Other than that, winter tax bills go out December 1st. You'll be getting your new bills from your local unit.
Yay!
The cycle continues.
Okay. Any questions for Julie? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Julie.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on to agenda items. On item A, I need a motion to approve the Shiawassee County Board of Commissioners budget resolution for fiscal year 2022.
Mr. Chair, I make that motion.
Support.
There's a motion, a second discussion. I know Brian's got some comments.
Yeah, so just briefly, this is the draft budget resolution for you. Next month, we will have the public hearing and adoption of it. But just a couple of highlights. Our general fund is budgeted and balanced to zero. We have $19,307,000 of revenue and the same in expenses. Our special revenue accounts come in just over $56 million. with expenses of just under 54 million. So our total revenue is 75.5 million, and our total expenses are about 73.5 million. There's been an increase in the taxable value of about 420,000, almost 1 million up in the last 2 years, not quite over a year, but over 2 years. Other than that, revenue is up, including in the Register of Deeds office, state revenue sharing, and other areas that have helped us with balancing our budget, especially with the general fund. Again, this year, so this will mark our 3rd year in a row, we don't plan on using any money from the delinquent tax fund. And we're going to continue with our interest policy and fee policy of returning those to the general fund, which helps us keep up with inflation. There will likely be a couple of changes to the overall numbers of the budget between now and adoption in December, because the road commission has to send us their final approved budget, and so does Medicare, our medical care facility.
Very good. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, need a motion to approve resolution 21-11-17, approving the intergovernmental agreement establishing the Shiawassee County Land Bank Authority and the attached intergovernmental agreement, and authorize the treasurer to sign the same.
So moved.
Support.
Motion, discussion, we've been working on this. Julie kind of touched on it a little bit in her report. I think we're all, Brian, do you have any comments?
You approved one earlier. This one had some changes that the state required, and so you're just...
This revision, okay, good enough. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Item C, need a motion to approve the refilling of a deputy register of deeds 2.
So moved.
Support.
I know Lori's here. Okay, just replacing someone?
Just replacing,
Okay,
someone moving on,
okay,
other opportunities.
okay. Okay, with that, any other discussion?
Level 3, grade 3.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, authorize MERS to allow Brian Smith to purchase 28 months of service credit as requested.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion.
I have discussion. Here we're starting, we passed one last month, and now we've opened the floodgates, and I was afraid that this was gonna happen. At what point are we gonna just let people buy us all that they, what is the reason? I guess I don't think I can ask that.
So MERS requires that it be in the minutes and approved by the board for anyone to purchase it. So they have to be able to show documentation from the board of commissioners that they have been approved to purchase.
And there's no cost to us.
Well, there is. It's in the long term, though. That's the thing.
The legacy costs are.
My kids and grandkids are gonna pay. And here we moan and we complain every month that, we're so tight with MERS, and, if it's a one-off, that's one thing for me. We start getting into doing this all the time. I wish that they could redact names so I don't have to see names and know. I'm afraid of it getting out of control. That's just my only thing. I understand that people want to buy years. I know that as a teacher, we were locked out of that 10 years ago. And here Shiawassee County is still doing this kind of stuff. Everyone else has shored this stuff up 20 years ago. We're still kind of going at it.
Question here. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not on the board, but does that mean he can draw more money then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
theoretically, there's
yeah.
no other reason to do it. Theoretically, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong here, or John, theoretically, the amount that paid in should be the actual amount that, according to actuaries and so on, will be required to fully fund the additional that he's paying. I think that is, unless of course the market dumps. That can be a problem. Of course, if the market goes up more than is predicted, we actually can be ahead of the game with that. So it can go either way. The expense that we will incur is there is an administrative fee every year. It's fairly minor by comparison, but it is not an automatic loss to us. Did I state that properly?
I think that's mostly correct. There's a trade-off about they're buying more time So therefore, they will leave the workforce earlier, theoretically. And as they leave the workforce earlier, they will be drawing longer. You know, when you draw more on your defined benefit, it costs more money. And so,
Which is why you pay the money.
which is why you pay the money in theory to cover it.
I mean, theoretically, if someone wants to retire at 30 years old, if they could come up with a big enough chunk of money to throw into MERS, then they could retire at 30 with no loss to us. At least that's theoretically how the accounting's supposed to work. The fact that we're $53 million in the hole says.
Is that an offer?
Well,
It must be a big incentive for them, they can draw a lot more money, and I don't think it's incentive to the, personally, I can't see the numbers, but.
I feel like 1 or 2 months or 3 months when someone's trying to finish, that's more reasonable to me. And we're talking over 2 years. Now we're getting into some big numbers here. If someone's like, man, I'm a couple months short and I wanted to be done by my birthday, it's more reasonable to me.
So if he works another 2 years, we still pay it anyway, we pay it. So I,
Yeah, but we don't have to give them a bonus on top of it, so.
Well, we won't be paying this,
No.
he'll be paying this. He'll pay the extra 28 months, not us.
yeah, I don't even, has MERS even figured out what that sum of money would be?
It was not in the email he sent to me requesting this.
Well,
Where do you get a large sum?
yes. I mean, we're looking at, it's gotta be huge, like $60,000.
Yeah,
and that's money that we won't pay over the next 2 years, so I don't know, like Greg
We
said,
also
it's
won't
kind
get
of-
the work. It's to me, it's a no gain, no loss thing with the exception of
Right.
our expenses. Again, theoretically, that is assuming the actuarial numbers and the expectation of growth in MERS is as they predict. If we switch administrators and our new administrators do a better job for us, we could actually end up ahead. If they don't, maybe not. But again, this is theoretically pass-through money.
He's actually prepaying years.
And there are probably some tax benefits to him in doing so, although I'm not a tax person, but kind of like when you're allowed to do at a certain age a catch-up on your 401k and so on, and dump money into an HSA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old Brian Smith is, and I have no idea. But, I mean, if this makes him retire earlier, that means he retires earlier. Of course, he pays 28 months, but then we have to hire somebody.
if you had a 401k, you couldn't do that,
That's right.
And by
but
the
you
way,
can in this thing, so it's a big plus for somebody.
don't forget whoever we hire won't be in MERS.
Well,
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
got the
okay.
new program, you can't do that, right?
There's
If you're in the new program, you can't do that, so it's a big bonus to these people, so. You guys say it's not, it is,
I worry about the floodgates. That's my biggest concern.
my opinion too.
That we already, 1 month later, we've already got another one. Will they be
Now-
3 or 4 next month?
Well,
Yeah.
good enough, and that will really lower our,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess-
we're gonna
I
save
guess,
all kinds of
If
money.
this becomes a regular thing, I would want some sort of a more expert financial analysis than my armchair financing here, and make sure that it isn't something that's hurting the county.
This isn't military service or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know any other retirement fund you can do that to. Put a great big money in there, it won't let you, because there's only so much every year. You gotta abide by those rules. So it's a big,
Actually, private accounts you can.
no,
It's like 401ks and so on, not generally pension, but I suppose you could technically buy annuities and so on that do lifetime annuities that do the same sorts of things. Because that's sort of what a pension is. It just groups everything.
yeah, but you buy an annuity, it's not, you can't buy that much every year, it's not a retirement outfit, so. You have to pay taxes.
Lifetime one, but again, I'm not a financial expert, I'm just sort of giving you my understanding of the theory of pension funding. That money that is paid in a particular year is supposed to be enough to fund that pension for that amount of time, based on actuary tables and life expectancies and so on.
How come we're so far in debt then?
Because it hasn't
Huh?
been, we could talk about that, different topic though.
Well, that's
I
the
think.
same thing. It's the same thing. If all this hadn't happened, we wouldn't be that much in debt, so.
I mean, it's,
Wouldn't be 50 million in debt, so, oh well.
I'm gonna bring up we've moved to a new system. I mean, I know this gentleman is in the old system, he's grandfathered in, but, we're looking to, bond that system out. That'll end anybody buying years or anything.
Well, we gave buyouts to people to go early, so. I don't know.
Well, we can pass it on to Wednesday and we can all vote on it. I
Sounds
think
like a
that-
plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other discussion at this time? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
2-1 passes, moves to Wednesday. Thank you. Item E, I need a motion to authorize wage increase from $14.79 to $17.02. And I read that, it was for the court security. And Brian, do you want to just comment on that?
Yeah, so we
I'll
did
make
a-
that motion.
I'll support it.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Support, motion, support, discussion.
So just looking at comparables for court security officers, there seems to be two camps for counties. There are armed security guards that are usually certified police officers, and then there's security guards that are not certified to have weapons. We have traditionally used retired police officers to do that work, and so they usually maintain their certification and they carry guns. Looking at what other counties around are paying, for example, Isabella County is paying non-certified individuals for security, which means not the same as us, $18.90. Ionia County is paying retired deputies starting at $21.03 to do court security. Berry County is paying $12.75 for non-certified. Tuscola County is paying $18.24 for non-certified. Cass is paying $17.02 for certified officers. Clinton County is paying $17.62 for certified officers. Gratiot County is paying certified officers $19 an hour, and we're at $14.79. So it does deserve an increase given the fact that we do have certified police officers doing these jobs, and we're so far behind all the other counties.
Is that part-time work?
Yes,
No benefits?
no benefits, part-time.
That wasn't in our wage study either then? Okay, I just thought of that.
No, I don't think they were in there.
Okay,
And they have not received any of the adjustments, so the 4%, those other things that the board has approved, they have not received.
okay.
Because it's part-time.
Yeah, so I was recommending that we go with Cass, which was the next highest one up at $17.02, which would be about an extra $32,000 annually to our budget.
30. Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Call to the public, one last time. If no one wishes to speak at this time. Wait a minute, 23 minutes, right? No.
Pretty good for finance.
Yes.